Hello there and welcome back to the Nobby on Cars YouTube channel, and thanks for subscribing if you have done so yet, and if you haven't, well, there's a button there, so go on, be nice, it's Christmas. This is the brand new Kia Sorento. It's the fourth generation of the car, and we're going to have a seriously good look around this vehicle today. The starting price in Ireland for the 7-seater 2.2 diesel is just under €50,000. 49-ish, sounds a bit better, 49-ish. But for that price and for standard equipment, you're going to get an awful lot. So let's start at the front. So this grille, which is black obviously and blends in nicely with the black exterior colour of the car, will be noticeably aggressive across the front in different colours. LED lights with the strip here, and the nose here just protrudes out at the bottom part of the bumper, and it just has a mean look from the front. I think you're going to like it. A couple of creases across the bonnet as well that just float in to the rest of the car's design. That little silver strip there then just completes kind of like the eyelids of the headlights. Around the side in this particular car we have little bits of chrome, little bits of strips here. Underneath there is a camera, and I'll explain more to you what that's for. And I think the chrome plastic strip here also just kind of breaks up the side of the car. I really like it in black. I know some people they don't really think the lines of a car are shown off particularly well in black, but for me I think it looks great. And that quarter over the back like that, the rear lights, they could be Range Rover Sport. It's got a bit of a Chrysler vibe going on about it. This is one of the best selling Kias in America, so it screams like something that would absolutely be at home in the States, never mind here in Europe and Ireland and the UK. So that is your taller Sorento now in this fourth generation. It's wider, it's longer, there's more space on the inside because of the design of the car. And these are the upgraded alloy wheels. They've got a diamond cut and black trim coating. Plenty of rubber on those tyres as well, which helps in the suspension setup of the car and how comfortable it is, which we'll go through a little bit later on in the video. So rear lights, they're not massively big across the width of the car, but they just have a presence, the way they just sit there. Escalade vibe perhaps as well. You got a boot spoiler here. The wiper is tucked under there so you don't see it. It gives it a sleeker design. And again, the lines in the back really just almost come out over the back of the car. The one thing I don't seem to be able to do, and I'm not going to get into tricks of feet underneath boots to make them open, I can't find a button. So wherever the button is on the boot, I'm not quite sure, but you hold the key down and your vast boot then comes to life. Now the parcel shelf, it doesn't fit underneath anywhere, but there are two little grooves that it would lock into place here if you're not using it, because you have these seats up. And these are very, very easy to maneuver if you've kids screaming. First of all, there's no lip here, so smoothly just put things in. But it's so easy to put these seats up or down. It's literally just like that. If you bought a new bed and you want to put them in the back of your Sorento, there's then two further buttons in there that just makes it huge. And now you're talking well over 1,000 litres of boot space, and you can do all that very, very quickly. All the things you might need in a modern boot are there. Clips to hold things, little tethering hooks, more clips here to hold things into place. And you can even store a few bits underneath here if you don't have this thing locked in, that is. But again, it is very easy to move. There's just squeezable sides on it, just about fits in to the car. But you're down to not even 200 litres when you bring those rear seats up. Everything just, just works so easily. Nothing is an effort at all. Now I'll show you the space of these rear seats, because you can configure the middle bench quite a bit, which makes it very, very convenient. First of all, these doors are brilliant. Pretty much a 90-degree angle. Loads of space for getting things in and out. Your passengers want to get into the back row. There's a button here. And in you go. Such is so. Even with that reclined all the way back, I'm still comfortable. Like, certainly if you had it there with your passengers in the front are still going to be absolutely fine with, there is tons of room. Like, I think this is the best 7-seat legroom I've ever seen. You've got your own air vent, you've got your own air conditioning controller, you've got USB charging and 12 volt charging that you can access back here. So you really aren't picky down the back, not in the middle. And there's a really clever thing that these can both be adjusted independently. So if you had a longer passenger in the back, you could give them a bit more leg room than maybe the people here need. And that's the other thing I have to give them top marks for, because these all slide separately. So again, as I said, more leg room, no problem. Less leg room needed back there, but more leg room needed here. You can do the exact same with this seat. And it's so easy, you don't have to go over to the other side of the seat to do it. It's just everything is smooth and works. And what's more, they've put 2 Isofix seats in the back row, 2 here. Then when you're ready to go on a spin, as you can see, the leg room is just phenomenal. Yes, you can adjust it and bring it forward, but if you want all that room, you have it. And then you can recline the seat back. Again, if you need more room, I don't know why you'd want to be quite at that sort of an angle, but that seems about right. And when you have the glass sunroof, the light's flooding in, the headroom is just so generous. They've got charging points at the back of the seats, and on the passenger seat you can actually move that seat back with a button. Again, you don't need to be getting out and fiddling for bars. And you got 2 vents down here, 12 volt and a USB. I know in certain markets there's actually 2 USBs and a 12 volt down there, but you're getting one of each. If you have certain models, there's heated seats back here, press a button, nice little drinks holder that's in here, and there's a Bose sound system. Plus, there's blinds for when the kids want a bit of privacy, or just because the sun's wrecking their head. Built in, so simple. By the way, that button for moving things is just here. Same with this, there's a manual one, just in case anything breaks. And then the lever is just down here for moving the seat, but I'm sure you can see that leg room is just so good. So that is the boot and the back passenger area sorted. Let's have a little look around the front. What are you getting in this K4 example of the new Sorento from Kia? I think so far so good though, would you agree? You've got a kind of rotary wheel that selects your reverse, neutral and drive. A tiny handbrake, and that's it. But the inside of this car, when you fire it up, the amount of lights and displays and purpleness and whatever colour you want to change the interior of the car to is all here. So all your climate has physical buttons, your extra large cabin down the back. For the rear passengers, they've got their own independent air conditioning that you can turn it on or off if you don't want to waste fuel running it. Good bits of storage down here, 2 charging cables. You've got a USB for Android and CarPlay and 2 charging options. Also, there's wireless charging in this car, so you just pop your phone into the tray and away it goes. And in the new Sorento, even in the smaller 8-inch screen, you can do Android and CarPlay without cables, so that's very handy. This car also has a heated steering wheel, controlled by a little button down here. Very, very toasty on days like when it's freezing out. More heated seat options up the front here as well. There's 3 levels of settings. This is a huge storage area. 2 cup holder areas here. Even the glove box, I've no complaints. It's not massive, but it's usable. There's no fuse box thing going on, so there's plenty of space. And in all models, the dials are digital, which really do look very, very nice. And at night time, this is a classy place. And these massive door handles that have little lighting up parts beside them, they also look nice. And this tablet feature kind of sweeps right across to the other side of the dashboard, with it ending just here. It feels really, really premium. And on this side of the passenger seat, you can also move it and control it. So your passenger, well, sometimes they're just, for someone who gets into the car and maybe doesn't drive or doesn't have a car with electric seats, it can be a little bit daunting. So you can take that away. And it also works when they're sitting in the passenger seat if you want to wind them up. The electric windows, I hope you can hear that. They sound classy. They sound expensive. Feature I love in the car, you can set it up as a favourite. So you have a thing called UVO settings, and it'll give you live weather and traffic and parking and fuel stations. Now, I haven't managed to get it to work. I don't know if it's a connection with the network that I have to set up with my phone. I'm not quite sure. It's not working for me. But there is a driver talk feature. You push that button and your passengers down the back of the car can hear you, especially in the back, and they can talk back to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're halfway through the video today of the new Kia Sorento. Please sit back and enjoy the journey, and don't give me any cheek. And no, we're not there yet. And they can hear you back there. And you press a button, and it's gone again. Genius! There's also the usual stuff like the Kia voice note that reminds you to get milk. The sounds of nature to calm you down. Or a warm fireplace to heat you up. Yeah, of course, total gimmicks. But they're just nice, you know, they add a bit of fun. But this interior is so classy. The finish is really top notch. And again, they are going to get more prestigious badge customers getting into one of these cars and not being disappointed. Even at slow speeds, you would do well to know this is a diesel once you're moving. Like, as long as you're even doing 30 kilometers an hour, it's a really quiet diesel engine. And that's impressive how just gentle and refined it is. Now, it is clattery. When you start moving, it's a diesel after all. The 200 brake horsepower never really feels like it's not enough. You know, there's enough of a kick out of the engine to propel you and your 7 passengers, or, well, you and your 6 passengers, or a whole load of stuff in that boot that could be configured to well over 1,000 litres. You realise how well insulated the car is from the outside world. I really can't hear a thing outside at the moment. Now, it's a calm day and everything, but it's very well insulated. Gear changes are really smooth. You would not notice it. There's no shudder, there's no clunk. Seating position is very high. The steering has lane keep assist and lane departure, and you can press a button that has a picture of a steering wheel and 2 outside lines, and that will actually gently steer the car for you. It will, after a number of seconds, ask you to put your hands back on the steering wheel if it thinks you're not in control of the vehicle. Gotta love that winter sun. It's incredibly low today, and it's actually, like, if you're driving a car and it's December, January, you should never feel like you can't have sunglasses on, because the sun is so low. It's very, very easy to very quickly get blinded by it and not see a car that's braked in front or whatever. It's a real problem in this part of the world, particularly kind of October to February, March type time. So this car will keep up with traffic and cruise control at low speeds. If the car waits any few seconds and the car in front pulls away, well, it'll give you a beep to say the lead car has moved, but it won't pull away automatically. You'll have to tap the accelerator, but that cruise control will work in really slow traffic, which does take some of the brake accelerate hassle out of driving in this kind of stop-start traffic. That initial pull away there, now you do have some sense of, well, driving a big enough car here, and at times it feels like, and not really in a sluggish way, you're just aware of the weight of it, and it's a big lump of a thing. You know, you feel like you're in a bit of a tank. The driver aids, I mean, they're in plentiful amounts. They're very sophisticated. At times they are a little intrusive because they're just constantly doing stuff for you, and you do end up done. They're really need that thing on, I might turn that thing off, it's a little bit annoying, or whatever. But they are very good, they do exactly what they're meant to do. Pre-collision avoidance, the whole lot, it works incredibly well. Cross-traffic monitoring, I was in a shopping centre car park. They're, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous places you can be in. You can drive motorways all you want. Because I was reversing out and I wasn't hitting the accelerator yet, but the car was beeping for cross-traffic pedestrians. It had spotted absolutely everything. And that kind of driver aids that are becoming more and more common in cars, they really are superb, and I've no doubt they'll, over quite a short space of time, prevent those little minor crashes that still cost a few £100 to put right, or obviously, the last thing you want to do is obviously hit a human as well in a shopping centre environment. So it will no doubt prevent a lot of that stuff. Fuel economy in stop-start traffic, you're going to get 9 litres per 100 kilometres, okay? They will tell you can do 6. I've no doubt you can on a longer journey, on a motorway-based journey, no problem. But in stop-start traffic, it is going to be about 9 litres per 100 kilometres. So you really, you want to make sure you're doing the mileage to justify the diesel. And if you are sitting around in that kind of traffic, the hybrid petrol is not going to be any worse than that. It'll be better, in fact. There is obviously the plug-in hybrid coming in 2021 also. Personally, I think the wheels in this car are a good size, but there's loads of rubber on them as well, so it's a very comfortable car actually for going over bumps, and it deals with ramps and stuff like that very well. Those cameras that come on when you're indicating to change lane or whatever, they're really, really good, especially during the daytime and when it's dry. They do get a bit noisy at night time, but that sense, I mean, a little bit grainy. So it's nothing really you can do about it. And when it's lashing rain, the lenses are kind of getting washed out just by rain spraying up in the car. So they're not great at those times, but on a clear day like today, when it's dry and sunny, they really are brilliant, and you've a direct line of vision out the back of the car where you wouldn't normally be able to see, so they're really, really good. Gotta say as well, there isn't a rattle, there isn't a squeak. The interior of the car feels really well put together, and I've no doubt, particularly for previous owners of the car, they're going to jump into one of these and go, wow, this is some upgrade on the previous Sorento. Even on quite an old estate road surface here now, and there's a bit of noise off it, it's still incredibly smooth. Like, you can hear that you're on an uneven surface, but you can't really feel it. And it still has, it doesn't have a floating dynamic to the handling either. You just plow over ramps like that, no bother at all. It's a really great offering of a car where space is of huge importance to you, and particularly if you've gone a bit mad with the old amount of kids that are under your roof, this car will be able to cope with it. Obviously you do sacrifice a bit of boot space if you're going to need all of the seats available in the car, but if you're not and you just have 3 in the back, you still have a massive, massive boot. Sure, it's not a sports car, you're not going to be absolutely baiting it into corners, and if you are, well, you're going to want the 4-wheel drive version of it, but as an offering that's going to carry people with a huge 7-year warranty, you're not going to go wrong. So to sum up, is the Kia Sorento worth it? It is an expensive car, granted. If you go for this K4 model, you're talking 54 to 56,000 euro. There's a lot in it though. When you think of things like that, it will follow traffic in stop-start, when it's got all these panoramic cameras that look at absolutely everything, the glass sunroof, the blind spot monitoring, the cameras inside when you're changing lanes, the interior, even on the K3 model you're getting leather, the upgraded screens. Again, in some markets they're not as big, but in Ireland they are the bigger screens as standard. The amount of kit you're getting in this, is it going to take an Audi Q7 or X5 driver away? Well, it's worth a look. Something like the Volvo XC90 absolutely is a more luxurious and prestigious car, but that's perception. When you have a look around one of these, I think you really will be surprised. And to get the level of kit that's in this, in any of the more prestigious brands, is going to cost you an absolute arm and a leg. And when you compare the cost in that sense, then it starts to seem like it's a bit more value for what you're paying. It's not cheap, but it's extremely well spec'd, and 7-seaters on the market with a bit more premium feel, with a 7-year warranty. There's a new kid in town. If it's your first time checking out the channel, please subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and there's links in a merch shop below and how you can support the channel as well. It's fully independent. Everything is done by me, so if you'd like to buy a mug or a water bottle or anything below, they're in the links. Do leave a message or a comment below as well if you're interested in this new Kia Sorento, and I'll try and answer any questions that you may have. I've been very, very impressed, and I think you will be too.